first thing I remember, and a lonesome whistle blow, and a youngin's dream of growing up to ride on a freight train leaving town, not knowing where I'm bound. No one can change my mind, Mama tried. One and only rebel child from a family meek and mild, and Mama seemed to know what lay in store. In spite of all my Sunday learning, toward the bad I kept turning, till Mama couldn't hold me anymore. I turned 21 in prison, in a life without parole. No one there could steer me right, but Mama tried, Mama tried. Mama tried to raise me better, but a bleeding I denied. That leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried. Dear old Daddy, rest his soul, left my mom with a heavy load, and she tried so very hard to fill his shoes. Working hours without rest, wanted me to have the best. She tried to raise me right, but I refused. I turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. No one could steer me right, but Mama tried, Mama tried. Mama tried to raise me better, but a bleeding I denied. That leaves only me to blame, but Mama tried. That leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried. Hey, how you doing out there, Guitar Heroes? All right, we'll have a little Merle Haggard today, 1968, Mama Tried. Okay, so we basically got a three-chord song here. Sometimes there's an A, sometimes there's an A7. We do have a B minor in here, which makes it a little bit more complicated. But other than that, it's a D, we got a G, we got an A7, and that B, pesky B minor that we find in the chorus. All right, so there's a fancy picking at the beginning, and I couldn't even remotely get close to that, because this pinky got to come all the way down to the first fret. I can't do that, but of course that's pretty much a whole lesson just to get that finger picking, which does continue in most of the song. And then there's electric guitar part on top of it, and that just lasts right at the beginning, and then we end up with a two hits on a D chord. So I was just doing some easy little the lazy man's way of trying to get around an actual pattern. And all I'm doing is I got my D chord, this finger's going up and down a little bit, and I'm just hitting the D string, which would be two down from the top, the G, just those three strings. I'm kind of rotating back and forth. So that's your lazy man's easy way to get around having some kind of an intro, and then we, at the end of that, we do a two hits on the D. Now we got three verses and we got the chorus, so we do that two times. So we start on the first verse with a D. The first thing I remember knowing G was a D, lonesome whistle blown, back to G, and a D, youngin's dream of G, growing up to ride A7. On a D, freight train leaving town, G, not D, knowing where I'm bound, and D, no one could change my A7 mind, but Mama tried, back to the D. Okay, so three verses, and they're all the same, obviously, with different words. So then we'll play the first two verses, and then we go into the chorus. And here's where the voice goes up a little bit. You're going to come off of a D. I turned 21 in prison, doing G, life without parole. And then here's where our B minor comes in, and I cheated a little bit because I did an A form, an A minor, and I just brought it up to the third fret, and I eliminate doing a bar, and that's only because I can't do that anymore. But it's a way to kind of cheat your way through that. Just don't hit the E string. That's the wrong note because it needs to be this note and F sharp. So it's a way to get through that. So A minor form, and you typically bring that up and play this part of the second fret, but you do it with these three fingers down here and then a bar up here. And that's what I'm not able to do anymore. But this gets you through. But we just want those three strings, not the high E. D, G, and B. No one could steer me right, D, but A7. Mama tried, Mama D. Trying to raise me better, but her G. Bleeding, I denied D. That leaves only me to blame. A7, Mama tried. All right, so then we have a guitar solo, and then we have one more verse, go back to the chorus, and then that's the end of the tune. And we end on a D. So we've got a fairly brisk pace. The first thing remembered knowing was a lonesome whistle blowing, and a youngin's dream of growing up to ride. Freight train leaving town, not knowing where I'm bound. No one would change my mind, but Mama tried. Got a freight train pattern. A little bit of emphasis on that first strum down. The one and only child from a meek and mild, Mama seemed to know what lay in store. In spite of my Sunday learning, toward the dead I'm turning, till Mama couldn't hold anymore. All right, so there you go. That medium pace, just a little bit of emphasis on the first one. Kind of think about that railroad sound. It's kind of chugging down the highway. So there you go, Mama Tried by Merle Haggard, 1968. A great tune, obviously, for him, and not too tough to play. And this is in the original key. All right, hope you got something out of this lesson. Take it easy out there, and we'll see you next time.